Did you know that your husband brings a valuable insight into your relationship, and what he can bring you to your whole family can bring you to a whole nother level? All you got to do is ask him. We're going to teach you how. Keep watching.
The next letter is I, and that is insight. So insight is a very, another one that's pretty important.
This is about more about the brain though, and a little less about like...
Yeah, it's a lot more about recognizing in your husband how he thinks and how he's going to approach basically everything. You know, especially, you know, and just recognizing that this is one of the, I think we'll cover this and probably a little bit in maybe all of our videos, but
yeah, you guys are going to hear this all.
There's a huge difference between men and women and the way that we approach problems and the way that we approach problem solving.
Yeah.
You know, men are very analytical.
Yeah, logical.
Very logical.
Extremely logical.
Women tend to be more emotional.
Not tend to be.
You know,
are. Like literally where, not to interrupt you, sorry,
no,
but
ahead.
literally where your instinctual reaction to a situation is emotional, logical. Very, very different. Now men can be logical and then have emotions. Women can have emotions and then logic. But the very first gut response to everything in life is logical, emotional. Women and men. And you cannot change that. Okay? So men can be logically emotional and women can be emotionally logical. So anyway, so we'll talk more about that in future videos. That has a lot to do with everything you do in your relationship.
That's an hour video all by itself.
But men are logical, and how that applies to insight is that they think about things differently, and their initial response, their initial trigger is always going to be from that logical place.
Yeah.
It's a huge benefit. That is a huge benefit to your relationship. Hello? Yeah. I don't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't need to do that because I have him.
So there's value there. That's the whole point of this chapter with insight, is recognizing the value in the way that a man will approach the problem.
Yes.
And the way, because first of all, when a man is presented with a problem, in general, one of the first things that's going to come to his mind is, how do I fix that?
It's logical.
How do I solve that problem?
That makes sense to me, logically.
Yeah. Got it. Okay, that's a problem. How am I going to fix it?
Right.
And I'm moving directly to the fix.
Which is fine.
Yeah, and if you recognize that, you can use that to your...
Get things fixed!
Exactly. Use that to your benefit.
Yeah.
And then there are going to be times, if we're being honest, where you don't want him to fix anything.
True.
So just tell him.
That's okay.
Tell him up front, I need your ear, not your mouth, homie. I just need you to listen. Don't talk. Don't fix my problem. Just listen to me. Yeah,
and don't get upset when he does. Like, that's the insight. Oh, so when he acts that way, don't act negatively. Try to stay positive. But also, other thing about insight and the logical thinking is use that to your advantage. Like, I'll bring that up again. That, you know, think of your husband as somebody who can think about things a lot differently than you can. So if you have situations in your life and you're trying to brainstorm how you can do this, and you're maybe seeing one or two angles of it, you might be surprised that if you just bring it up to him and ask him and say, hey, you know, what do you think I should do here? He will come out with something that you didn't even consider. It happens all the time with us. All the time I ask Patrick what he thinks because I know that he's going to say something that I wouldn't think. And then sometimes I always listen to him. Like, I always hear him out. And sometimes I'll say, great idea, I'm going to do that for sure. Or I'll say, well, if this happens, or we'll talk about it further or whatever. But just knowing that your husband can bring a completely different perspective for you mentally is going to be so great for your life, because you and him are going to be able to kind of hit everything at all angles.
Right.
It's huge.
huge. We
Huge.
said it at the same time.
Yeah, because we sync.
Yeah.
And so that's also another way when you do that with your husband that he can feel like you really honor his insight. You know, you really understand that what he can offer the relationship mentally, you know, is appreciated because it's a big deal. You know, I mean, there's a lot of things men can bring to our lives that we should be really happy to utilize.
Yeah. Remember, all of this is think of all of these things in terms of respect.
Mm-hmm.
So insight is going, you know, you have a way of thinking and a knowledge and an approach that's different than mine.
That I don't have, yeah.
That I hear and I appreciate.
Yeah. I can't tell you
That's
how many
respect.
times, yeah.
You know?
How many times in my relationship now, Patrick has helped me solve something that I would not have been able to solve it myself. That's hands down, I can say that. And then also way quicker. Way quicker.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I use Patrick, excuse me if I say that, but I bounce things off of him all the time that are logical, that I need a logical response to, you know?
Yeah. That's good.
And other things too. It's not just about logic, but he has a different perspective. He has a different life. He's been other places than me. He's done different things than me. He has a totally different experience than me. So just by asking him or brainstorming things with him, he brings to me, he teaches me a lot, is what I'm trying to say. He teaches me a lot.
Good.